Okay, Comrade Minister, how are you? You're joining the march today.
Why not?
Okay, what is the story? What is happening?
Every Zimbabwean who's patriotic has to basically identify with the fact that the sanctions are punitive to every person in Zimbabwe. They are not just affecting the elite. Right now, if you look at the MDC, everyone who's supporting the sanctions is living a very beautiful life wherever they are. But the people who are suffering are the ordinary people. So I expect that any well-meaning Zimbabwean has to stand with this anti-sanctions march.
Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Mkupe.
Oh, my sanitizer.
So I think comrades, thank you very much for making the greatest effort in the history of Zimbabwe or SADC for you to be here today. I think I need to thank you for you have done a wonderful thing. You have done a noble thing. This is actually the beginning of the end. I think you need to clap your hands for yourself. You have done a wonderful thing. Clap your hands for yourself. You have done good. Comrades, fellow citizens, allow me to thank all the comrades that are here from different political parties, from church leaderships, that are here also present, and all the Zimbabweans, South Africans, and other Africans that are here present. You might look at us and think that maybe we are few, but what we did because of COVID, lockdown level number 1, we realized that we are still in the lockdown. There are still some regulations and some restrictions that are still there. So what we did was to make sure that we restricted the number of people that are going to come here. So today, the guys that you see here, all the people that you see here, they are here strictly by invitation. So don't be worried about the numbers. Next time, I think we believe that the situation in South Africa and in the world, I believe that is going to improve. So we will be able to come here in numbers so that we can send another strong message than the one that we are going to send today. So the one that we are going to send today is strong, but we believe that also the other going forward, we are going to improve. Thank you. So today, fellow citizens, you know, today is a Sunday, so we could not have a representative from the American Embassy. So what we have done in order for this SADC event not to be sabotaged, because there's no representative from the American Embassy, we have decided that we are going to email them our memorandum. So today, as I'm going to be reading the memorandum, which we have actually going to send them while I'm reading, they will be able to get it. Thank you, comrades. Amanda, all power. Long live Zimbabwe, long live.
Long live.
Long live SADC, long live.
Long live.
Long live Africa, long live.
Long live.
Thank you, comrades. As I'm going to read our petition, which contains our grievances and the message that we are going to send to the American president and his administration. So today, the 25th of October, 2020, the president of the US, we are saying, we should have a sign. Unconditional removal of the United Nations, of the United States of America's unilateral imposed economic sanctions against Zimbabwe. They are choking us. They are choking us, the ordinary helpless citizens. For the past 19 years, they have been choking us. We are suffocating every day. And we are saying, a child that does not cry at the back of the mother will die at the back of the mother. Americans have stepped on our toe, and we cannot remain quiet. Why is it that we are feeling the pinch? Why is it we are feeling the pain? So we are saying, as one of the greatest men once said, freedom does not come in the silver platter. It's not given in the silver platter, but it is vehemently demanded by those that are oppressed. So today we have come to the American Embassy to demand our own freedom, because the Americans have actually enslaved us as Zimbabweans, as African citizens. So today we are saying to the American administrators, to the American president, that your sanctions which you imposed on our nation is a knee on our neck, and we can't breathe. So today we are calling for the unconditional removal of the ZANU.
Hello, Mr. Janasi. How are you, sir? Okay, let's talk. Let's talk, Mr. Janasi.
It is an economic goal.
What is happening here?
Which you dropped on our country.
What's happening here? It's a march of Zimbabwean citizens alongside South African citizens to call for the total and unconditional removal of sanctions imposed by US and other Western countries on Zimbabwe.
Okay, what is your response to the Americans who says that Zimbabwe needs to meet certain conditions before the sanctions can be removed?
To me, that is nonsense, because the conditions in Zimbabwe which must be met by Zimbabwe, set by America, that's trampling on Zimbabwean sovereignty. We gained independence in 1980, meaning any domestic disputes or problems or disagreements must surely be solved by Zimbabweans. Every country has got problems, but is Zimbabwe at liberty to set conditions to be met by US? is Zimbabwe free to set conditions for South Africa, to set conditions for Russia? Why is US setting conditions for Zimbabwe? That means that big brother mentality is what is making America declaring weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, killing Saddam Hussein, and embarrassingly found no weapon of mass destruction. US has been dominating, bullying every nation in the world, and it's now beyond human understanding and respect.
Okay, I'll talk to you again later. Let us listen to the speech. Are you going to be giving a speech?
Yes. Okay. He has already targeted us as the helpless citizens of Zimbabwe. So our message today is to them that they must remove these sanctions against Zimbabwe unconditionally. And also from the African perspective, when you injure one, you injure all. When one catches the cough, all of us will sneeze. So this day, from the Ubuntu perspective, I am because we are. Since we are, therefore I am. So when you touch a Zimbabwe, you have touched the South Africa. When you touch a Zimbabwe, you have touched the Nigeria. When you have touched a Zimbabwe, you have touched the Botswana. When you have touched the Zimbabwe, you have touched the ZANU. But today, with all these citizens that are here today, we are saying to the Americans, please remove these economic sanctions which you imposed on Zimbabwe. We have unilaterally imposed these sanctions on our nation. And we are saying, please remove them unconditionally. And unequivocally, we are saying to you, these sanctions have damaged our future, have destroyed our future. This is now 20 years, which is a generation that is gone. And we do not know how long we are still going to be in these sanctions. But to Donald Trump, we are saying, please be remembered for a good thing. Before you leave office in November, please remove Citera. Please remove the targeted sanctions to the incoming president, whether it is going to be Joe Biden. We are saying, let you be remembered for doing a good thing.
I'm not the organizer.
By removing these sanctions. So, to the American administration, this is a short message.
One of the classes.
Together united, we shall never be defeated. 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 Hard enemy sanctions.
So, comrades, this time around, I'm going to give you two solidarity messages from other fellow citizens. I think for now, I will start with the Ukule to move it.
Rise, Zimbabwe, rise. Rise, Zimbabwe, rise. Go, sanctions, go. Go, sanctions, go. Thank you, comrade, for this great opportunity. I stand here, shattered as a child of Zimbabwe, having to speak about the sanctions, which are a gross human rights violation, not only to other African countries, but mainly to women and children at large. Sanctions are not a plausible way of resolving international conflicts and disagreements. They are nothing but a soft approach in international diplomacy used to control other states. Thus we demand, as the children of Zimbabwe, we demand from the US the immediate unconditional removal of the illegal sanctions. Sanctions have a gloomy impact on the rights and well-being of the ordinary and innocent civilians, hence the need for the immediate removal of the sanctions. Sanctions are a gross infringement to our rights to education and healthy care, among other rights, as they cause massive migration leading to brain drain. The Zimbabwe Democracy and Economic Recovery Act, ZIDERA, adopted by the United States of America, claims to support the people of Zimbabwe. But this is not the case. The ZIDERA has brought so much suffering to us. ZIDERA is sanctions on a country, not on an individual. Investors have shied away from Zimbabwe, leading to high unemployment. Today, I stand here on behalf of my country, Zimbabwe. I boldly and loudly denounce the illegal sanctions imposed on us. The fact that the sanctions are said to be targeted at 83 people, but now are affecting ordinary citizens like myself, it's a clear indication that sanctions must go. Simple, no discussions about that, no whys, no ifs, sanctions must go. If those sanctions were meant for a few, then why is it that the entire European Union member states are not willing to help Zimbabwe in any way? Clearly, this is not a political, this is just a political rhetoric used to justify sanctions. If sanctions are targeted on individuals, why does the US ask the government to comply with the ZANU, not the targeted individuals? We don't want sanctions. They are inhuman. They violate our rights. Sanctions must be lifted immediately and unconditionally. Rise, Zimbabwe, rise. Rise, Zimbabwe, rise. Rise. Go, sanctions, go. Go, sanctions, go. Go. Thank you.
Sing for us, Dr. Lang.
Order, order. Oh, order, order. Oh, order, order. Direct, ho. Look, ho. Direct, ho. Silokan, ho. Kika, ho. Get ho. Kika, ho. Get ho. Up, gear, ho. You are, ho. Type, ho. Urimplay, ho. Type, ho. Urimplay, ho. Up, gear, ho. You are, ho. Kika, ho. Get ho. Kika, ho. Get ho.
Okay, thank you, comrades. Amandla. Amandla. All power.
To the people.
All power.
To the people.
Maibuye Zimbabwe, maibuye. Maibuye Africa, maibuye. This time around, I'm going to hand over to Tinashe Jonas, another fellow Zimbabwe citizen, and is going to give a solidarity message with us as a diaspora community and as a progressive, patriotic and progressive Zimbabweans in the diaspora. You can take the floor.
Amanja, Amanja, Awetu, Awetu, Amanja, Awetu, Fans Lamasanchi. Fellow Africans, I honor this opportunity to talk representing the blackness. I will start by saying maybe there's a confusion between the two words which share the same spelling. The words are us and the US. Same spelling, U and S. Us meaning Zimbabweans, meaning Africans, meaning blackness, meaning independence. US meaning a country that is doing cyberbullying, that is doing terrorism. The love in us as Africans, the Ubuntu, yes, made us venture into the war in the DRC to support the legal government of the late comrade Kabila. We all know that the US has invested a lot of interest in diamonds in the DRC, one of the richest countries in the world in terms of resources, but there's crisis after crisis, which is sponsored by US. That's where Zimbabwe crossed the first line. The war violating the American dream, American interest. The second line Zimbabwe crossed was the land reform program. In land reform program, Zimbabwe embarrassed white supremacy. Zimbabwe embarrassed Western dominance on blackness. So that was the second line Zimbabwe crossed. And US, as they are British citizens, together with Australia, UK, Canadians, they are all British. So it's one family. Whiteness doesn't enjoy when blackness is at equal terms or is claiming its rights. So these sanctions, I mean, I admit there are problems in Zimbabwe, socio-economic, like any other country. But as an opposition leader myself, I believe problems of Zimbabwe needs Zimbabwean solutions. If not, then African solution. No African political party, no African citizens are allowed to sit in the US Congress, to sit with Americans, talking about American domestic policy or foreign policy. So why us as Africans, we allow US to dominate us? Because they are going to give us economic sanctions. Why? Is US the richest country in the world? The answer is no. We Africans, we are selling our souls to the same US. We are selling our resources to US. And the US now is being fed by African resources. And the US is now dominating us. We are saying, I am saying as an African child, we don't want, we have tolerated the US, we have tolerated the Western world for so long. This is the time Africans will unite and we don't allow any foreign dominance. South Africans, they died in numbers. South Africans, they went to prison, Open Island. Zimbabweans died in numbers fighting for freedom. The freedom now we are handing over to US. US must remember we are self-governing. We need America. We need each other, but no big brother mentality. Donald Trump is allegedly captured by the Russians to win the presidency. Right now, as I speak, Joe Biden is being allegedly funded by Ukraine and China. So these words I'm quoting from Donald Trump when he was debating with Joe Biden. So if Trump is really believing Joe Biden is captured by foreign countries and him is accused of being captured by Russia, so America is in crisis. Blacks are suffering in America. Why can't they deal with their problems, domestic problems, and not transfer their problems to Zimbabwe? We are being punished as in Zimbabwe because the Western powers want us to be an example to two countries right now, which are threatening the whiteness. South Africa is debating about land reform. Namibia is debating about land reform. Zimbabwe is being punished when President Donald Trump signed the 2018 ZANU, the new act of sanctions to Zimbabwe. Immediately, he tweeted that he is not happy with what is happening in South Africa. He's worried. Why did he tweet, the land reform issue in South Africa immediately after signing the Zimbabwe ZANU? It was to warn and to threaten South Africa not to continue with the land reform. So the problems in South Africa are the problems of Zimbabwe, are the problems of Nigeria, that certain Africans in our countries are sponsored to reject our sovereignty. Zimbabwe, we are together to fight our problems. We don't need America to police us. If Zimbabwe is abusing human rights and the US is our monitor, is our judge, who is judging US to know that the way US is judging Zimbabwe is correct? Thank you.
Amanta. Thank you, Comrade Jonas. He's asking the question, who shall guard the guardian? So at this point in time, allow me to give an opportunity to the ANC, a national executive member that is here present, to give a solidarity message. We have got Comrade Dakota, who is an ANC national executive member. He's going to come and give us a solidarity message with us.
Amanda, down with sanctions.
Down with sanctions. Thank you, comrades. Thank you, the organizers. Let me take this opportunity to preface the big speech from a brother, fellow African leader in the ANC, Comrade Dakota, here present. In doing so, let me thank the esteemed Zimbabwean progressive members here present who took their time to organize this event. The leadership and members of ZANU PF South Africa here, Mr. Tinashe Jonasi, the leader of Ideal Zimbabwe. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought in my introduction to Comrade Dakota, let me also take the opportunity, because after that, I think I'll be very little to speak after you. I want to take this opportunity to thank the entire leadership of the SADC region and the African Union, the President of South Africa, who is the current chair of the African Union, and the fellow South Africans, progressive forces in the region and the world over, for unequivocally and unambiguously asserting their voice on the call for the removal of sanctions that were unilaterally imposed on Zimbabwe in 2000 and the years that were to follow, in order to ensure that they scare other members of the region not to do what Zimbabweans had done, to take their land and introduce empowerment, economic empowerment programs meant to empower blacks. Because the success of these programs would mean that fellow Africans would follow suit. Therefore, America saw it prudent to therefore unilaterally introduce the sanctions, so that fellow brothers and sisters in the region cannot follow suit. But let me say from the onset that they will not succeed, because we saw them before they saw us. The stubborn and arrogant de facto bully of the world has heard this message. Their presence on the Twitter today and yesterday is a clear indication of them having heard our voices. And we want to once again thank the leadership of the SADC region for setting apart this 25th of October so that we can amplify the voice like we are doing today. As much as they are hidden elsewhere, our voices are clear to them. Sanctions are which were unilaterally imposed on Zimbabwe must be unconditionally removed. The people of Africa have spoken, and you have listened to America. The people of Africa are saying sanctions are the worst human rights violation and the cause of the suffering of the majority of Africans in Africa and the neighboring countries. They are a subtle declaration of war on innocent sovereign countries who seek to be treated equally and as sovereign partners in the global village. Yet America wants to see itself as the big brother. We are equal in the global village. No one should be treated as a lesser being, and that message must be very clear to Americans. We therefore unequivocally and unambiguously call for the unconditional removal of the sanctions, and we appeal to their conscience, the Americans, and their claimed love that they always claim on Twitter, WhatsApp, and other social media platforms, that they so much love Zimbabweans. If they do, we are saying empathize with the Zimbabweans and remove the sanctions unconditionally today. The time is now and we want the sanctions to be removed. They shall no longer be a scare tactic to scare our fellow brothers and sisters in the region. With those words, let me take this opportunity to call upon Comrade Dakota, the member of the National Executive Council and the National Working Council of the ANC, and he is here deployed from the highest office. ANC is represented. Not only is the ANC represented, but the South Africans are represented in their entirety by Comrade Dakota. Comrade Dakota, address.
Thank you very much, Comrade Kennedy. Amanda, how are you? Amanda, how are you? Now are you? Amanda. Pambiri ngechimorenga pambiri. Pambiri ngechimorenga pambiri. Okay. Oh, thank you very much, comrades. Let me also, on behalf of the African National Congress, take this opportunity to thank the organizers, to thank all the brothers and sisters of Zimbabwe, the entire continent, to thank all the other fraternal organizations from the church, and all other formations in our society. As the African National Congress, we stand in support to the SADC resolution and to the African Union resolution that unconditionally sanctions must be lifted against Zimbabwe. When these sanctions started, it was called targeted sanctions against 83 leaders and lawmakers of Zimbabwe, including number of business people. But so far, in the 20 years of these sanctions, we have seen more than 5 million Zimbabweans crossing their border to the whole region to seek food and opportunities. We have more than 3 million Zimbabweans in South Africa who are here to seek food and opportunities as a result of the sanctions. We have received a report from the United Nations Food Programme that if these sanctions are not lifted, between 5 and 7 million Zimbabweans might face starvation in the next year. Now, the problems are that these are compounded by the pandemic of COVID, which also has affected us as South Africa, because according to second quarter report of Stats SA, more than 2.2 million South Africans lost their job and they are continuing. So it means 2.2 million plus 3 million Zimbabweans going forward will have to jostle for job opportunities. You can see the potential confrontation in that is very high. But as the African National Congress, we would not want to encourage our people in this country to turn into xenophobic people. Allow Zimbabweans who are here to be here, because the problems they have, it's as a result of the sanctions in their country. It's as a result of the disrespect by big nations of their sovereignty. It's of disrespect of their territorial integrity, because in terms of the United Nations declarations, no one has the authority to be a bully boy or a big brother to any member state. And that's what we're saying to all the people of the world, to America and to the European Union, that we have seen that with persuasions, with marches like this, with memorandums like this, we have done it before. It was Zimbabwe and Sudan. Now Sudan is out this week. Yeah. So it means by next week, Zimbabwe can be out. Yeah. If you want America and the European Union, Zimbabwe can be out of the sanctions by next week. Yes. So that we allow Zimbabwe to have a full potential. We allow Zimbabwe as a nation to can feed the people. We allow Zimbabwe as a nation to can give jobs to the people, to allow Zimbabwe as a nation to educate the people and give them proper health care. Yes. If we have to use methods which are very unconventional
is not going to assist us. So we are asking to the United Nations, to the European Union, your quest for sanctions in Zimbabwe, instead of them being targeted, now they've brought starvation, they've brought hunger to the helpless and innocent people. If you are targeting leaders, now the situation in Zimbabwe has affected ordinary people because they can't put bread and food on their table because of the interference and because of this unduly sanctions which were done for the targeted but ended up affecting everybody. And they've affected everybody to an extent that even ourselves as South Africans, we are dying in silence because the burden of the sanctions of Zimbabwe spill over to us as a neighbor. And that is unnecessary according to us as the African National Congress. That's unnecessary according to us as South Africa, because once Zimbabwe can be stabilized, once sanctions can be lifted on Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe will be in a position to realize their full potential. Some of the things we forget and we don't know is that Zimbabwe has got 24 mineral products in Zimbabwe, which they can sell to the world tomorrow and recover from this particular sanctions. Zimbabwe is a good vegetation to grow any plant and to become again the food basket of the continent. Let's allow Zimbabwe to realize a full potential so that Zimbabwe with her people, they can live side by side and in peace. And Zimbabwe with us as South Africa and the ANC, we can live side by side as neighbors. As the African National Congress, we support Zimbabweans for the mere fact that we're an African National Congress. Now we derive our philosophy and social orientation from an African way of life, of Ubuntu. When you are my neighbor, I must ask, whether did you eat yesterday? If you did not eat, I must feed you. When you are my neighbor, when you have problems, you must ask for solutions from me, and your neighbor must help you. And equally, South Africa, that's the support that we have received from the Zimbabweans. When we were under draconian laws and apartheid government in our country, we are saying we still appreciate your gracious Zimbabweans and the support you gave to us. And we are equally, as a commitment to our African way of life, we are going to be neighborly to you as South Africa. We are going to ensure that these sanctions are lifted against your country so that you can realize your full potential. But you can also, once again, feed your people, because there's nothing very difficult that sanctions can do. What they can do is to bring hunger. What they can do is to bring starvation. What they can do is to bring poverty. Even if you have 24 minerals, you are suffering because you can't do business, you can't trade with anybody in the world because of the sanctions.
Yes.
So you are being killed silently from inside.
Yes.
So we are asking, if we need to do so, we are begging, if we need to do so, to the United States of America and the European Union, that please help Zimbabwe so that Zimbabweans can help themselves. I thank you.
Because I think in 5 minutes' time we'll be leaving this place. I think we, as Comrade Dakota, have actually summarized the entire event which we have actually done today. I believe that this is the beginning of the end. We are not going to end here today, but we are going to continue and intensify these marches against this Zimbabwe sanctions up until the entire world and our plan. Because at the moment, when you look at America, every time when we want to have a solidarity march, it is a time when they release peanuts to Zimbabwe, some freebies that they try to give to Zimbabwe, in a way of trying to distract Zimbabweans from knowing the real truth. So at the moment, you heard not so long ago, 3 days ago, that America has donated $138 million to Zimbabwe. But I ask myself, what is $138 million compared to more than $40 billion, which was lost due to sanctions in investment to Zimbabwe? So at the moment, the Americans have been playing with what we call fig leaf tactic. They've been hiding behind the fig leaf. They've been telling us that these sanctions are actually targeted. But when you look at these sanctions are actually targeted at us, and they actually targeted at the entire SADC region. When you look at them, not so long ago, I think 2 weeks ago to be exact, the American ambassador in Zimbabwe gave a statement which was published in the Daily News. He was saying that America actually wants to see Zimbabwe progress. Then I asked myself, how does America want to see Zimbabwe progress when he has already given, when they actually injected Zimbabwe with the devil? What America did is not different from injecting a woman, a doctor that injects a woman with a devil, and say to the husband, impregnate this woman. No matter how hard the husband will try, you will never deliver the outcome result as long as the devil is still there. So these sanctions that are on Zimbabwe are actually a kind of an economic devil, which was injected on our own economy. And we believe that even our president, Comrade Idi Mnangagwa, no matter how hard he tries to make the economy work, he will try, but his effort may not be able to realize the intended outcome. So thank you, comrades, for your support, for coming here. In short, this is what we wanted to send to the Americans, to demystify the mystery that is behind these sanctions, that they are not targeted at our senior government officials, but they are targeted at our helpless, ordinary citizens of Zimbabwe. Thank you. So from here, comrades, we are going to make sure that peaceful Zimbabweans can march in a peaceful manner. I think you must clap hands for yourself, and also give South Africans in solidarity with us. So as we are going to dispense from here, we will follow the same route, but on the fifth. When you get to us, then we will dispense. Thank you very much.
Sorry, can I just ask you a few questions?
Okay.
I saw you addressing the meeting.
Okay.
Which organization are you from?
Organization, as in
Are you
political party?
Yes. Are you belonging to a political
Yes,
party?
I'm a ZANU member.
Okay. Which member? Which branch?
I'm at Kempton Park.
Kempton Park.
Yes.
Okay. What are you saying to Zimbabweans, to the United States?
I'm saying to Zimbabweans back home, guys, we are standing in solidarity with you. Your Excellency, we are here. We are standing in solidarity with you. We, as your children, we are saying sanctions must go. Sanctions must be removed with immediate effects and unconditionally.
Okay. Why do you say the conditions, it must be removed unconditionally? Do you think the United States conditions are unreasonable? Why are you saying unconditional?
They're very unreasonable because when they enacted those sanctions on Zimbabwe, they say the sanctions are targeted at 83 top officials. But now they go on and say Zimbabwe cannot do trade or get help or any aid from the European Union countries, which doesn't have any logic there. If you are targeting 83 people, then now why are you punishing Zimbabwe? Are those 83 people Zimbabwe? That's not Zimbabwe. And to make matters worse, it is the poorest of the poorest that is suffering. It is that grandmother in the villages who cannot get a 10 rand to go to the hospital. Even if that grandmother gets that 10 rand to go to the hospitals are incapacitated. There are no doctors, there are no nurses, they've all migrated. So how exactly are we supposed to get any help as citizens?
Okay, what is your name?
I'm Gugungube.
Gugungube. And what is your position at Kempton Park?
I'm in the Women's League of Kempton Park.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Comrade Dakota. Comrade Dakota, how are you, sir? I'm live here. Can I just ask you a few questions?
Yes.
Yes. What is the position of the ANC on the sanctions in Zimbabwe?
As the African National Congress, we stand in support to
the SADC resolution and the African Union resolution that sanctions against Zimbabwe must unconditionally be lifted so that we allow Zimbabwe to realize their full potential, so that we allow Zimbabwe to can feed their people. That's what we are simply asking for as the African National Congress. We support that sanctions must be lifted so that all Zimbabweans who are in diaspora, more than 5 million of them in the whole SADC region, with over 3 million in South Africa, can be given an opportunity to go back to their country and live normally within their own territory, with their own integrity as a sovereign state.
Okay, what about the conditions that the United States has put in place for lifting of the sanctions? What are you doing to make ZANU-PF comply with those requirements?
Look, it's not for us as the ANC to police or bully ZANU-PF on what to do. Zimbabwe, from our point of view as the African National Congress, is that Zimbabwe, it's a sovereign state with its own territorial integrity. It's a member state of nations amongst nations of the world. And as it is now, solution of the Zimbabwean problems must come from Zimbabweans. And as a result of that, we can't impose ourselves to the ZANU-PF, but what we can do is to engage ZANU-PF as a sister organization that we were together in the trenches as liberation movements.
Thank you very much, Comrade Dakota.
All right.
Right. Mr. Mandazase, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm live here, and I just wanted to ask you, are you able to tell us what has happened today and what is the next step?
What has happened today, we have gathered as Zimbabweans and the fellow South Africans to at this American embassy to unequivocally and unambiguously call for the removal of sanctions. And it is our belief that they've heard the message wherever they are. And we would want to appeal to their conscience that they act as humane beings, empathize with the Zimbabweans, and remove sanctions so that the Zimbabweans as a people and the Zimbabwe as a sovereign nation can determine the course of the lives of its people, which we believe so strongly that we are in a position to make sure that they can have a better life were it not for the sanctions which were illegally imposed. Going forward, our message will continue to be the same. We are saying we are equal partners in the global village. There is nobody who is bigger than the other. Therefore, let us treat each other equally. And likewise, we expect the Americans to treat Zimbabweans equally and make sure that they allow them to determine their course in the same manner Americans are determining their course with their president. And they should give us also that opportunity. We are in a position to correct anomalies in our country, and we are not naive to the challenges that are there. And we are working on making sure that we correct those challenges that we have in our country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mandaza. Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good.
Okay, what is your name, sir?
My name is Comrade Rico.
Okay, and what is your message here today? What are you saying about the sanctions?
No, we're saying that these sanctions need to be removed because apparently they are affecting ordinary Zimbabweans. We need to do business. We cannot do business. We've got 20 state enterprises that are in sanctions, and it's affecting the normal people in Zimbabwe. Ordinary people are affected. I think these sanctions are evil, and America needs to relook at this matter and lift those sanctions.
Okay, what about the conditions? Corruption, election reforms, media reforms, all these things that are happening, human rights abuses.
Okay, yeah, when we look at corruption, corruption is in every world. Actually, in the corporate world, corruption, we call it business relationship or relationship marketing, whereby as a chief executive of another company, you can spoil the chief executive from the buyer. But when it's done on a political level, it becomes an issue. Everywhere in the world is corruption. You cannot pinpoint a specific company. That's how business is being done.
Okay, so what about the human rights abuses? The entire Zamara is still missing. Is that difficult to solve?
Okay, when it comes to human rights abuses, man, you must look at it from different angles. Some of these things are
Okay, I'm sorry. We'll have to go. Let's talk again later. Okay, so I've talked to all the people I could talk to here who are here at the United States Embassy in Pretoria, and the march has ended. We are being forced to leave because the time has finished. I just want to ask Mr. Mkupe one question.
This is my former classmate.
Mr. Mkupe, please. I'm live now. I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
There are conditions to these sanctions. Why does ZANU-PF not address the conditions?
Have you seen the conditions?
Yes.
They're actually not quantitative. They're actually very qualitative. So being qualitative, it means that they're subject to the interpretation that the Americans are wanting to use at that particular point in time. Because if you find the first Zidera bill, everything that they asked for in the first Zidera bill, we met those conditions. Under the second Zidera conditions that they had set up, it was primarily to do with the fact that we were to make sure that we would change our laws, repeal the IPAs, make sure that you compensate the farmers, make sure that you have free and fair elections. And guess what? They actually sent their senators to Zimbabwe. We had the best elections that you've ever had anywhere in Africa and anywhere in the world, right? And you find that now they're talking about the issue of the human rights. I've just seen what has happened in Nigeria. Where are they? Why are they calling for sanctions on the Nigerians? And they talk about, if you really want to think about the human rights, someone was making an argument. You saw what happened during the Kukurahundi times. Why did they call for sanctions during Kukurahundi? Because it was an issue of black on black. But the minute you touch a white person, the minute you touch the British, then sanctions come on you. If in Nigeria, white people were shot, I bet you Nigeria will be under sanctions. You know, if what had happened in DRC, where black on black happened, what happened in Rwanda, where black on black happened, if we had white people who were being killed, there will be sanctions. So the fact that we took back what belonged to us, they're telling us that like there are sanctions on us. You know what? The reforms that are happening in Zimbabwe, we're not doing it for the British. We're not doing it for the Americans. We're not doing it for the white people, but we're doing it for our own kids, for our own Zimbabweans. So make no mistake that when we're improving Zimbabwe, we're improving it for the people that are the white people. We don't care about you guys. We don't care about you. We care about Zimbabwean lives. We care about our people. We care about the well-being of our people. That's what you should know.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mkupe.
Let's go. Let us talk.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. How's it?
Very well. How are you?
I'm right.
Why did you come to this sanctions march, anti-sanctions march? What's happening?
I came to this anti-sanctions march just to let my voice be known that we as Zimbabweans, we are suffering. We don't really believe it is because of corruption. We know corruption is there. It's a social ill that we are supposed to come together as Zimbabweans and solve it. But these sanctions are something which is being imposed on us by a foreigner, a foreign body. So we're saying, leave us alone. Let us have a fair and free environment. Then we solve our social ills alone, then without any interference from the Americans.
Okay, what about the conditions?
The conditions, which conditions?
The Americans have not said they don't want to lift sanctions. They say
do not have any moral right to set conditions to someone who is free.
Why?
Why? Because we also don't set conditions for them.
Okay.
If the conditions are being set by us as Zimbabweans, that as Zimbabweans we are going to sit down here and say, let us talk. These are the conditions we want. We'll accept them. But if the conditions are being set by an American, I'm sorry, my brother.
What is your name, sir?
I'm Ignatius Boriondo.
Okay, what do you do here in South Africa? Are you a member
I
of
am
ZANU
the
PF?
Secretary for Finance in ZANU PF South Africa.
Okay, fantastic,
Very
sir.
proud member of ZANU PF. Thank you, sir.
Right, thank you very much everyone for watching. I am going to be leaving now. I have to go because the time is up and we've been told to leave. So I'm trying to make you see my face so that you don't think I'm lying to you that it's me when it's someone else. So this is me. I'm here at the American Embassy. So thank you very much. Please put your comments in the comment section, and let's see what you think about this ZANU PF marching against sanctions. But every speaker does not want to deal with the conditions. They don't want to address the issue of the American conditions for the removal of sanctions. They want what they can call unconditional removal of sanctions. And I don't know how that's going to work, but this was significant because for the first time, they managed to bring here about 50 to 100 people. They were not bussed. Everyone came in their own car. You can see these guys are coming by themselves. And there were quite a lot of people here. So let's see how the Americans are going to respond to this action by ZANU PF and the ANC. The ANC also had a representative here during the march. So I've really had a hectic day today and I have to go. I have to leave. Then we can have more guests coming to discuss and we see if this is going to make a difference at all. This is the United States Embassy here in Pretoria. And I think the message has been heard. I was here since 9 o'clock and these guys marched. It was about a kilometer or two to this place. I think they can march to the Harare United States Embassy. I don't know why there's much here and we don't have a march in Zimbabwe. But thank you very much for watching. Please share, comment, and like this video. Thank you very much.